Hey bread friends, it's me, Ellen, your crazy baker chick, with sort of a shorter but very important video. I'm not showing myself today because I am sick in my pajamas. I have bronchitis. I'm just trying to get over. I'm hoping not to cough while I'm doing this. I'm gonna run a little experiment today. I have 3 identical loads of my soft fluffy white bread recipe. The only difference is that I have 5 grams of Italian seasoning in there. I'm making these today for the sole purpose of having breadcrumbs that we use for making turkey burgers and different things like that. I'm going to bake all 3 of these in the bread machines. And you know, I hardly ever do that. I always use dough course. But I want to address the hump problem. Zojirushi always says that the reason you get the hump is because your dough is too wet. But as you all know, I know how to make my dough a beautiful, nice, cohesive ball. My belief is it could be from your dough being too wet, but I really believe that it's just how it lands. So I'm going to set them all on my basic, course 1 white cycle in my Zos. They're over there waiting. There's my box of Cheerios. And I'm not going to take out the paddles. I'm not going to reform the dough in any way. All I'm going to do is check the dough consistency to make sure that it's a nice smooth dough ball, but I'm not going to correct anything, not going to shape it. I'm not going to pull paddles out. I'm just going to see if I get the humps or not. And then it will show you that maybe it's not anything you're doing wrong. It's just simply the dough lands after kneading, it rises and it bakes, and it might be lopsided. We'll see. So I have set course 1, which is white, crust control medium, on all 3. And now we have 3.5 hours to wait, but I do have this written for course 1, the rest is 31, check dough at 36 minutes. So I did set a timer for 36 minutes. As I said before, I'm only going to check/fix the dough consistency, and I'm not going to touch it after that till it's done. So that 36-minute timer just went off. It's time to check the dough. Okay, so I'm going to stick my finger. It's absolutely perfect. It is tacky, but not sticky. No dough on my finger. So that's zone number 1. Here we go with zone number 2. It's not as quite as together, but close enough. And again, get off of me. Dough is tacky, but not sticky. It's not dry. It's not wet. It's perfect. Let's look at number 3. Same. Tacky, but not sticky. I'm not doing a thing. I will scrape off these little things on the edges, and I'll go back to number 1 to do that. So that is all I'm going to do. I'm not going to touch them again until they are fully baked and the white course complete. As promised, I'm not going to touch the dough. I am just going to show you that the kneading is over and the first rise is happening. There's 1, looks perfect. There's 2, looks perfect. There's 3, looks perfect. Not touching it. I just heard a knockdown after that first rise. That's what that looks like right now. That's what that looks like right now. That's what that looks like right now. I haven't touched it. Well, I just realized that I didn't make the smaller, slightly reduced recipe for baking in the bread machine. So, hello. It's gonna be really big. Hopefully it isn't going to bake and stick on the window, because that makes a big mess. But that was number 1. Here's number 2. It's definitely lopsided. Here's number 3, definitely lopsided. I don't particularly care unless I'm giving it to somebody else that it's lopsided. But this just goes to show you that it is literally how the dough lands. It's not anything I did wrong. My dough was definitely not too wet. If it had been too wet, there would have been dough. As I touched the dough, there would have been dough on my finger. If I had baked this on dough course in a loaf pan and shaped it in the loaf pan, they would have been the perfect shape. So I know Zojarushi said his spaghetti's too hot, but I am just telling you that it's just how the dough lands. If the bread is just for your family, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It will taste just perfect. If you don't like how it looks, you either do what some people do and remove the paddles. I won't tell you when, because I do not know. I don't do it because I don't think it's good for the machine, because it wasn't written in the instructions that you can do that. I just always use the dough course, and I like the control I have by using my own loaf pans and baking in the oven. They are done. This one has a slight slope. This one has a little bit more of a slope. And this one actually has, I think they're about the same. But you all saw that my dough was perfect. So unless you reach in and reshape, take the paddles out if you want, or do dough cycle, even if your dough is perfect, there's a good chance you're going to get lopsided loaves. It's okay. Doesn't hurt the loaves. I'll show you the crumb and everything in a bit. Just a little extra tidbit of information. I've unloaded the breads onto my cooling rack. You know, the sloped ones really don't look all that terrible. Move that. You can see that one. And this one is actually almost perfect as far as no slope. Okay, but what I wanted to show you is put your bread pans, they're hot, so, you know, put them on some hot pads as close to your sink as you can get them, and then fill them at least part way over the spindles with warm soapy water. It's too hot to reach in there and get the paddles out. After they soak for a few minutes and the pan and inside is cool enough to touch, that's when you want to just put your hands in there, reach down, grab the paddle, and go wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You kind of turn it side to side and pull up gently at the same time. Okay? I'll probably get that piece of bread out of the way before I start wiggling and jiggling, but it'll be all mushy by soaking anyway. Do not try and pull these straight up. They only go down or come up one way. There's like a little straight side. So if you just, when it's cool, just put your hands in and go wiggle, jiggle, jiggle, like you wiggle back and forth as you're slightly pulling up, and it'll come out very easily after it's soaked for a few minutes and it's cool enough to handle. And this is the end of our story for today. I just cut them. I shouldn't have cut them so soon, but I wanted to finish the video. You can see that the crumb is exactly the same. They're nice and soft, cushiony. And again, this is just my white bread recipe with some Italian seasoning thrown in, because this is what we use to make breadcrumbs, or sometimes croutons. Hope you learned a lot from this video.